Hello everyone, today I'm here to do my February wrap up. I only read 5 books this month. In retrospect, that's not bad, that's great. For me, not so much. I average sometimes between 10 to 15 books, so to read 5 a month is kind of disheartening, but it is what it is. I've told you guys I'm in a slump. It's due to the weather, personal things. It's just a lot of accumulation things. And I think I'm almost out of it, but I'm not quite sure. So as always, I'm going to start with my least favorite working up to my favorite. First up, I have an ebook, The Sweetest Fix by Tessa Bailey. This is a new ebook she released. It's a short one. It's only like 200 pages. I gave it a 2 out of 5. It was okay. There wasn't a lot to it. If you just want a quick, steamy romance read, definitely check it out. It's about this character named Reese who lives in kind of a small town. She wants to be a dancer, and so she decides to like try out for this Broadway thing at New York, and she misses the audition and she's like, oh no. But then she decides to reach out to like the dance recital's son who owns a bakery in New York, and she kind of maybe is like, I'll sway him to maybe get him to talk to his dad to give me another audition. And of course, feelings happen. It's set in a bakery. It's super cute. It wasn't one of my favorite Tessa Bailey books. I gotta go to her for romance reads, and it was just okay. I have nothing really bad to say about it, but nothing really amazingly like awesome, I guess you could say. It was like, I gave it a 2 out of 5 just because it was short, and I just don't remember like anything about it. Next up, I have one I have actually already reviewed, and that is Accidentally Engaged by Farah Haran. This is another romance read. It's about a character named Rena who loves to bake bread, which I love that about her, and she's also really good in her job, and her family really wants her to find a good Muslim husband, and she doesn't really want that. And so who moves in across the way from her in her apartment is this guy that her dad wants her to marry. His name is Nadeem, and they get along great, but she's like, look, I'm not trying to marry you. And he's like, okay. But somehow through a course of events, she ends up on like this internet kind of food competition, and it's only couples only. So she's like, hey Nadeem, can you pretend to be my fiance so I can compete in this and hopefully win? And so it's got a fake dating trope. It was cute. I gave it a 3 out of 5. It was kind of a solid middle of the road romance book. I'd say if you really love the fake dating trope, definitely check this one out. Then I have a mystery thriller, Every Last Fear by Alex Finlay. This one, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so hard to explain. It's about the Pine family, and basically what happens is their oldest son, I forget his name, I think his name's Danny, is in jail for murdering his girlfriend in high school. But did he really do it? There was a documentary, like a Netflix, those are very popular now, like the crime documentaries, and they were like, did he really do it or not? And he's still in jail. But his family really believes that he did not do it, and they have been working for years to try to prove his innocence. He has a younger brother named Matt who's in college that's kind of really just kind of set himself away from that because he thinks he's witnessed actually what happened that night, and he really does think Danny is guilty. And he's in college, and when he gets home from a dorm party, he learns that the rest of his family are dead. So his mom, his dad, his younger sister, and his younger brother were all vacationing in Mexico, and somehow there was a gas leak at the place they were staying, and they died. Sadly, that's not spoil anything. It's in the, dust jacket of the book. And basically, there's another FBI agent that's like, I don't know if this is really a gas leak. Maybe it was a homicide. And so they go further into investigating his family's death, also how it kind of correlates with Danny being in prison. And it is very interesting. You get snippets of like scenes from the Netflix documentary. I don't know why I say Netflix. I'm just imagining it's probably on that. But I liked it. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was a good mystery thriller. Is it my first one I've read this year? It's only 2 months in. Give myself some grace here. But it was good. I did really enjoy it. I do want to own a physical copy of it one day, but I liked it. And if you're a big fan of like the podcast, documentaries, things like that, I would check this one out. I did find the ending predictable, but I still enjoyed how it got there. Next up, I have one I wasn't planning to read at all, and that is Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne. This is her 3rd book. If you don't know, she's written The Hating Game, which is my favorite romance read of all time. It's a hate to love trope. I love it. So this one I would say is more of a friends to lovers romance. So we follow a character named Ruthie who is the secretary, kind of like the person in charge of like this retirement village, and she really loves her job, and she's also has an old soul. She dresses kind of, I don't want to say elderly, like dress how you want to dress, but she has she's only in her 20s, but she has like the chain with her glasses. She wears cardigans and things like that. So one day when she's out getting gas, she runs to this guy that's on a motorcycle, and he's like, wow, are you going to like a costume party? Because you're dressed up just like the Golden Girls. Ouch. Somehow it ends up being the owner of the whole retirement village son named Teddy, and he starts working there, and they strike up a friendship, and you can guess what happens from there. So a lot of people love The Hating Game, myself included. And then she had her second book, 99% Mine, which I didn't really enjoy. I did like this one, not nearly as much as The Hating Game, but it was really cute. If you just want a cute friends to lover kind of organic story at that, I would recommend it. I love the setting. I love Ruthie, how she was, happy with where she was at, but she was like, am I complacent in my life or do I want more? And Teddy was just an overall charmer, like a motorcycle tattooed guy with a heart of gold that's just so sugary sweet on the inside. It was cute. I do think people will like this one when it comes out. And April, I'm just, I'm all over the place reading these days. And I would recommend it. If you love The Hating Game and didn't like her second book, I would give this one a try because I did find it really cute. I gave it a 4 out of 5, like I said, and just, yeah, I liked it. But I don't think anything will come close to The Hating Game for me. I don't know. Then I have another one I wasn't planning to read, and that is At Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is her latest and last book in her Brown Sisters series, which I am so sad to say goodbye to. So this one follows Eve, the youngest of the Brown sisters. And Eve, she struggles with what she wants to do in life. She changes her mind constantly. Maybe she wants to be a wedding planner, maybe a chef, maybe something else. She just doesn't know exactly where she fits in or where she belongs. And so her parents are like, hey, like, you need to like get a job and like stay in it. You need to move out. You need to like get yourself together. And so somehow she ends up working as a chef at this bed and breakfast, and she has a boss named Jacob, and they do not get along. It's a hate to love story, and it was just so cute. Jacob is autistic, and I thought the autistic representation was great. And Eve was just, I didn't really read much about Eve. You never really read much about the sisters until you get to know them in their own book. And I loved Eve. She could sing, she was caring, she was all over the place, but I really loved her, and I loved her and Jacob's story. So I am sad to see this series go. I gave this one a 4 out of 5. I think I've given them all a 4 out of 5. I would have to say, I think my favorite might be Chloe Brown. Oh, it's so hard. Like, I identify with all of the sisters, each in a different way. On a different day, I might be more Danny. On another day, I might be more Chloe. On another day, I might be more Eve. I don't know. But either way, if you're just looking for a great romance series, I would highly recommend picking up this series. You won't be disappointed. And I'm excited to see what she's going to do in the future because no more Brown sisters. I'm sad. The last book that I read that was my favorite is Float Plan by Trish Dollar. So this book, oh, I forgot the character's name. I think her name is Anna. Anyway, I hope I'm right by that. We have a character named Anna, and she has lost her boyfriend, and he had always envisioned them to go on this sailing trip for forever, like to sail the islands like Turks and Caicos, the Caribbean, things like that. And so on the year of his death, she decides, hey, I'm going to do the sailing trip. Like, I'm going to do this for us. And so she goes out on this boat and tries to do the sailing trip. Of course, she needs some help because she has, she knows a little bit about sailing, but not a ton. So she hires this guy named Keen. I'm pretty sure that's the right name. And he's like a professional sailor, and he's got a prosthetic leg, and he loves sailing, but having his prosthetic leg really holds him back for jobs and things like that. So he and Anna both kind of have really tumultuous past. And so they sail together, they become friends, they become more, and it's just a really beautiful story. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I wasn't expecting to, but the love story was so beautiful, but it really isn't about the love story. It's more about Anna, I hope that is her name, coming to terms with her grief. It has a lot of trigger warnings in this book. Obviously, grief, death, suicide's a big trigger warning, so just know that before going into it. But the way Anna really went through her journey, both physically on the boat and mentally, was just beautiful. You could really see how she evolved and changed, and just how much her grief has really affected her. And grief affects everyone totally different, so it's hard for me to say if it was an accurate depiction of grief because everyone grieves in a completely different way. But I really enjoyed this one. I haven't heard anybody talk about it. Don't miss out on it. It looks like a cutesy book by the cover of it. Don't be fooled. It's a lot deeper. I would say it's predominantly about grief and, you know, the journey with that and the journey discovering who you are and not how to overcome grief, but how to like just live with it all the time, because that's what happens to a lot of people. And there is a love story, but it's very much in the background, and I really appreciate that it wasn't in the forefront. But gosh, I love this book, so don't miss out on it. I think it's not gonna get as hyped as I want it to be because I really loved it, but yeah, just read it. I think you'll really enjoy it. And plus just the whole sailing vibes. Like, I don't sail at all. I'm not interested in sailing, but goodness me, I wanted to take this sailing trip like on my own personal accord. Never make it, probably. But there you have it. Those are all the books I read in February. One day I'll break out of this slump and I can get back into reading. And I think that's going to happen for me when it gets warmer. I've noticed when it gets warmer and I'm outside more with my child and not like inside all the time with him, having to keep him entertained all the time, I read a lot more. When he's outside, it's a lot more freedom, I guess you could say. I don't know. It's different with every person, but I know as soon as it gets warmer, I think that's going to really benefit my reading, and I am really excited for that because I am so over cold weather. Like, gosh, I'm ready for it to leave. I would love to know what you read this month. Is it also a colossal failure for you as it was for me? Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.